What is the best way to invest your first $100 in the stock market right now? And what makes these some of the best stocks to invest in right now? And how should you divide your money up? Let's go ahead and break it down. So what I've done is divided up the best stocks out there, how you should put your money into each of these, and I have taken the extra step and divided these into personas. So different types of investors for different types of stocks. I have looked out for you. So before we get into those, what I want to do is explain how these personas work, kind of give you a thought process behind it, because I want to educate you. What I don't want to do is just throw stuff out there and let you go into things blindly, okay? I want you to understand how I came up with this list. So the way that I did this is, first off, I picked the best of the best. This is starting off with the S&P 500, the largest 500 stocks out there, and chose the top 10% of the stock market in terms of performance. Again, if you're not in the top 50 stocks in terms of who is making the most money right now, it didn't make the list. Okay, so I started there, and then I chose different personas, meaning somebody who just doesn't want to have to look at the stock market every day, people who want to choose big brand name companies that we all know, people who want to do their own research, so on and so forth, and then chose stocks within that. Also, know that these are not the most well-diversified stocks out there in the world, because again, you only have $1,000. So these are not meant to be the most complete things in the world, but these are meant to be great places to start. Okay, I think you're gonna like the list. Lastly, I'm going to put the performance as well as the ticker symbols on the screen, because by the time you are watching this, the performance numbers are going to change just a bit, because I'm recording this at night. By the time you watch in the morning or the afternoon, the numbers could change. All right, so first I'm going to start off with the absolute easiest one, and this is the investor that wants to set it and forget it. You should likely look into an index fund. Okay, so there are several ones out there. The most common one is probably the S&P 500. SPY is going to invest in the S&P 500. So you set it and you forget it. It's just going to invest in pretty much all of the stocks within the S&P 500. On average, going to get you between 7 and 5, not 75, anywhere between 7 and 5%, again, on average per year. This year, the S&P 500 has gotten us around 20%. So you would have made this year so far around 20%, which is amazing. If the stock market is down, this is going to be down. The stock market is up, this is going to be up. Very good, very easy. You really don't have to do much. This is a very good set it and forget it plan. So this is where you want to be if you're someone who wants to set it and forget it. All right. Now, if you are someone who wants to be a blue chip investor, this is someone who wants to choose brand name companies. Now, what I would not do, unless you are an index investor only, is choose just one company. So what I've done is chosen a group of 5, and I would divide this money evenly between these 5, and just choose this group of companies. All names you should know for the most part, but the 5 companies right now are Apple, Walmart, a company we've talked about before. I think Apple is right back on the rise. It's a very good stock right now. Nvidia, a company I know we've all talked about before this year and last year. 3M is doing quite well right now. And then T-Mobile, which yesterday at the time I'm recording this, on October 8th, has hit an all-time high. Those 5 stocks, T-Mobile, 3M, Nvidia, Apple, and Walmart, those are the 5 you want to be a blue chip investor, investing for the long term. I think all of these companies are very, very good right now for blue chip investors holding for the long term. Those are my 5 for blue chip investors. Moving into our next category, and again, we're going to have all the performance numbers on the screen. Moving on to our next one, these are people who want to do their own research, investors who kind of want to be a little bit off the beaten path. You want to look into things that not everybody wants to know about. You want to read more into obviously the research, who's the CEO, and kind of, do a little bit more of the grunt work. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Okay, so the first stock here is Palantir. This one is a little bit more trendy, but I don't think everybody knows about it. It's not Microsoft, right? It's definitely not an Apple. Palantir, PLTR, again, is doing quite well right now. There have been a little bit of buzz in the comments. We've talked about that before. I have done an older video about that. If you want to see that research video that we've done, feel free to check that video out right here. KKR is a company that I don't think anybody is really talking about, but it is a finance company. It's one that I own, that I picked up almost a year ago now, that's doing quite well too. That's one you want to add. Fox. Yeah, Fox. I don't know. It's doing good though. But the Fox channel is doing good. They have two classes of shares. Both are doing well, but it's a company that you definitely want to keep an eye on. Again, off the beaten path, doing quite well. Look into it. This is your type of persona. If you are the type of person that wants to do your own research, find things that are off the beaten path that not everybody is talking about, this is you. This is the type of stock that you want to perhaps look into and consider investing in. Walmart is one. Yes, it is also a brand name. Yes, it is blue chip stock. But again, even though I keep talking about Walmart, even though people know about Walmart, not everybody's investing in Walmart. Everybody wants to talk about Amazon. I think that's because of the tech factor of it. People used to talk about Target. They don't anymore. I don't know. Maybe just Walmart is just too boring for people. I don't know. But they keep hitting all-time highs. They keep chugging along. Walmart be out there. Okay? It is what it is. Next here, again, doing your own research is Aflac, AFL. It is, again, off the beaten path. Insurance companies, not a lot of people talk about it, but they do quite well under the radar. Kind of one of those Warren Buffett style companies that, again, just churn out profits, churn out money, churn out great returns, and nobody talks about them. So another one there that you may want to add to your portfolio, add to your watch list. And if you're looking to invest your first $1,000, then it's one you want to perhaps consider. Also, if you don't have $1,000, say, hey, maybe I've got 500, maybe I have less than that, I've got something for you as well. Next here is your hybrid investor, someone who says, hey, I definitely want to have some index funds, but I also want to invest in stocks. How should I balance those two things? You actually fall into the exact same category as me, because I also am a hybrid investor. I need me some index funds, but also I have some individual stocks as well. Now, how you divide this up is totally up to you, but the way I have it, and again, it's not a complete list. It's not a science to it, and you obviously want to talk to your accountant or your financial planner, depending on how you want to divide this number up. But again, back of the envelope here, or front of a tablet in my particular case, but I have it at 70%. Again, it's only $1,000 in this case. 70% in an index fund. This can be SPY, and then the rest of it in this case divided between 5 stocks. What 5 stocks it's totally up to you. Totally up to you. You can choose any of the stocks that we talked about before, or you can choose the 5 stocks I'm about to list right now. I chose FICO, a company that I've talked about many times before. I've been investing in almost 2 years now, doing quite well with FICO. Apple, a company we have mentioned earlier. CEG, Constellation Energy Group. Y'all know we talked about NRG for a while. Now we're talking about Constellation Energy. I done told you. Okay, I done told you about NRG. We're moving on to Constellation Energy. Okay? I said what I said. I have said what I have said. IRM, we talked about IRM Mountain a few times. I've done a video or two, video and a half maybe, about IRM, its dividends, all the things in between. This is your warning. I've talked about IRM. And then Walmart makes another appearance. Now you might be thinking, Kevin, you've mentioned Walmart 3 times. Walmart is one of those all-around companies, has great performance right now. It's a I'm not gonna call it a dividend company, but it's a company that is a defensive company. So if the economy doesn't do well, which it is doing well right now by all metrics, but if it doesn't do well, it's a defensive company because people will flock there if things get too expensive. It is inflation resistant. It's done well when inflation was high. We've all seen that, and it's doing well right now. So it's kind of one of those all-around companies. So it fits in multiple categories. So that's why it's falling in so many places. Is it always going to be that way? No. None of these companies are always going to be good all the time. And it's why I talk so much about 6-month performance, 1-year performance. You always want to come back and review these lists and things every 6 months and every 1 year. 1 or the 2 is what I would recommend. Just refresh your portfolio, just refresh your list and things of that nature. If you are somebody that says, okay, hey, I don't have $1,000 just yet, maybe I only have 500, you may want to either consider continuously saving and do that, or you can take all this and cut it in half, right? And invest that way and continue adding. What I would really encourage you to do is don't just invest one time and just leave it alone and just never touch it. Yeah, it could still grow, and history shows us that if you leave it alone, keyword, leave it alone, that in time things will grow. Okay, it's not going to grow overnight. I don't want to set up some fake expectation that you're going to be rich overnight. It's not an overnight game. But I would highly suggest that you set up an automation. We've talked about this, how to do this on Cash App and other apps, where if you want to do that, I'll make sure that I'll put a card up here. But make sure that you're setting up an automatic deposit, $25 a week, $100 a month, whatever it's going to be, where you are adding to these investments on a regular basis, monthly, bi-weekly, whatever works for your schedule, whatever works for your budget, because that is how the wealth compounds. Because if I have an index fund, that's the only thing I have, I'm only putting $60 a week in, if I'm only putting $100 a month, $200 a month, whatever it is, and I'm making 7% a year, I'm adding $100 a month, by year 2, 3, 4, 5, that is really when the money starts to increase significantly. I'll start with 1,000, and then year 5 is 10,000, 20,000, 50,000. That is really when you start to see the money compound. That is how wealth is made. But it starts here. It starts with $1,000. It starts with that first $500. I started with $100 a month. That's where I started. Okay, I started with an index fund. That's all I had. That's all I had. And then I kept going and going and going. Got higher salaries. Kept investing. It kept growing. Got 100,000, and the game was on. Okay, and then things continue to progress from there. If you want to see my whole story on how I got my first 100,000, that whole thing, you can click this video here. If you want to see a class on how you can reach your first 100,000, you can click this class here, and I'll take you through the whole process. Or you can create your first six-figure investing plan. Lastly, if you want to know other stocks, perhaps in the tech sector and other areas, on other stocks that are out there that we did not discuss here, these are the videos that you want to check out next.